Salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and this is the show where we talk about the things that we love, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, and all that good stuff. I'm joined in studio today by our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
Hello, hello.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer-Burnett.
It's surprise day again. Wednesday, surprise day.
And most importantly, surprise, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show a part of your day. And here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a bunch of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, that's the most important part. That's when we take your live comments and questions. Now, there's two different ways you can get a comment or a question on the show. One, if you're not watching our show live and you're watching it a little bit later in the day, you can send in a question anytime 24/7 to our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Then, if you are watching our show live, then the way for you to send in a question is by using the super chat feature in the live chat. And when we get to the second part of the show, if you've sent in a question that we deem appropriate to be addressed on the show, you'll hear your question in the second part of the show. All right, guys. That all down. Let's move on to this. Brand new trailer dropped. Now, I had seen a little teaser for this movie a little while ago. The movie's called Obsession. And a short time ago, they released like a little teaser of just a guy sitting in his car on the phone saying, "Can I undo a wish?" And the guy saying, "Oh, we don't really do that." It's like, okay, that looks like a neat premise. Wishes going wrong are always pretty cool premises for a movie. Well, as they're saying here in Mashable, the chilling Obsession trailer will make you never want to wish for anything ever again, as they have in fact dropped the full trailer for it. Now, I like a good horror movie as much as anybody. I'm not a horror film aficionado by any stretch of the imagination, but I like a good horror movie now and again. But even some of my favorite horror films don't necessarily freak me out, right? Like a good horror movie doesn't necessarily have to make me feel scared, but I mean, then every once in a while you get something like The Descent that freaks me the hell out, American Werewolf in London that freaks me the hell out. This trailer freaked me the hell out. It's such a great thing. You know why? Because the things that get us most in movies are the things that feel a little bit uncomfortably close to home. And I think all of us, men or women, I think we've all had, maybe not to this degree, but I think all of us have had some relationship experience where we've kind of started seeing somebody and it just got way too much, way too fast. But this takes it to like the 28th degree. And again, this whole notion of wishes gone wrong. So for those of you who missed the trailer, I haven't seen it yet. The basic premise is this. This guy's been friends with this girl, but he's crushed on her for a long time, but just never gets around to actually asking her out on a date. But they've been friends, whatever. So then somehow, some way, the trailer doesn't explain, he comes in possession of this thing that will grant you a wish. At least that's what it says. So he makes this wish that he just wants this girl to fall in love with him. Pretty simple. Not a bad kid. He's not saying, "Make her my love slave." He's not, nothing like, "I just wish she loved me." Simple enough, innocent enough. And it starts off looking like everything's great. Because, man, as soon as he wishes it and you hear that knock on the window and she's just there in the window, I'm like, okay, right there. Felt a little bit too uncomfortable, but that was kind of a sign of things to come. And then it just progresses and progresses and progresses. And then you get a little bit of misery near the end. Did you catch that?
Oh, yeah.
Little dose of misery in there near the end.
I got a little bit of substance too on that phone call.
Yep, a little bit of that. And listen, I'll tell you what. You know what I always say about trailers? The job of the trailer is to take your enthusiasm and excitement level for a movie, no matter how low it is or how high it is, and bump it up a bit. This trailer has put this movie on the map for me. Yeah. I was already interested because of the teaser. This is a great trailer. Excellent trailer. The movie might suck. I don't know. We won't know till we see it. But big round of applause to whatever company put this trailer together, because they did a magnificent job and I can't wait to watch this. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the trailer for Obsession. Did you like it?
Dude, First of all, I love the horror genre. I have since I was a little kid. Reading horror novels, watching horror movies. And to me, one of the great tricks of great horror is to come up with a premise that's both scary but also relatable. Like you said, one of the things we all can relate to this situation.
Yeah.
And to add the supernatural or the fantastical premise of some agency is going to grant you a wish. But what I also love about what I'm seeing from this trailer, because I love the teaser, but the trailer really brings home what this movie's about. And it really, I mean, like all great horror premises do, it also works allegorically. Like, you know, dudes always think, God, if only she liked me, you know, my problems would be...
Everything would be fine if she just liked me.
Yeah. And then guys are always thinking that, like, we never think anything through three-dimensionally. You know, it's like, yeah, like, if only she liked me or whatever, but let's run that, let's game that out and see where that goes. And, of course, where it goes is girls are people, too. So, you know, if you're going to start messing with somebody else's emotions...
And you start taking away their agency.
Yeah.
Bad things
Bad
can happen.
idea. So this is one of those irresistible premises that works. It's very simple, but the road to hell that it is going to take us down looks to be really thought out, like they really thought through. And I think like Markiplier's Iron Lung, that this is not based on a game, but isn't another social media presence that has made this movie. And so now you've got the Talk to Me boys and you've got this, and it's kind of neat to see people transitioning over and making movies like this that come from the social media space. I see this and I'm like, man, this is one of those irresistible premises that I wish I'd thought of, because this looks so good and it looks like they really deliver.
Oh, and there's a little tag at the end that is kind of a continuation of the initial teaser that was pulled out. When he's like, oh, like, can I change it? It's like, well, whatever. And then he says, so she's like this permanently? Well, yeah, until you die. Until I die? Like that added a whole nother dimension to it. So again, listen, guys, I don't know if this movie's going to be any good. I simply don't know. But I know the trailer's good, and I'm really excited to see this film. Question is for you. Did you have a chance to see this trailer for Obsession? I think it looks just fantastic. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this. You know, right around the pandemic, it was once the pandemic started and we were all kind of under quarantine at home and stuff like that, that I finally got caught up with The Last Airbender, Avatar, The Last Airbender. I'd never seen it. I watched a little bit of it, but I decided during the pandemic I was going to just watch the series, and I loved it. It really ended up entertaining. It does skew a little young, yes, but as the season goes on, you know, you get into season 2 and whatever, it starts to develop more mature themes as well and end up being great. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of The Legend of Korra, just to be honest with you. That was okay, but I didn't like it nearly as much. Well, listen, you guys might remember that Paramount announced that they were doing a new animated movie called The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender. That's going to focus on the character Aang. But you also might remember that a little while ago, Paramount shifted gears. They pulled a fast one. Little bait and switch, because they decided, despite the fact they're saying, we're going to put out 30 theatrical films a year, they pulled it out of theaters and said, now it's going to go straight to streaming. And the director of the film is now coming out and saying, no, this thing should be in theaters. This comes just from the folks at Variety. Writing, Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender director says the film deserves to be seen in theaters after Paramount moved it to streaming. The movie is amazing. And it goes on to quote the director, stuff like that. Aang is officially, the director was quoted in saying, Aang, the movie is officially wrapped, Montgomery wrote. We screened the final film for the crew and celebrated the end of our 4-year journey. Now it waits in limbo until the release in October. I've never worked on an Avatar project that was easy, and this was no different, but it was worth it. I'm so proud of everyone who is part of this and the amazing thing we built together. Now, they continue. The movie is amazing. That might not mean much coming from the director. I might have some bias, but I feel the need to put that out there. The recent decision to move us from theatrical to streaming might give the impression that the quality wasn't sufficient, but it couldn't be further from the truth. This movie deserves to be seen on a big screen, and I cannot wait for all of you to see it. All right. Now, listen, this is an interesting scenario in the sense that, you know, if they had come out and announced that they were making this animated Legend of Aang, you know, the Last Airbender movie, and it was going to be going to Paramount Plus, I probably wouldn't have batted an eye. I probably would have, okay, yeah, that kind of tracks. I mean, Avatar's a television show, and this is a continuation of that, and it's animated. I can see you put it on Paramount Plus. But the fact of the matter is, they announced it as a theatrical movie. And not only did they announce it as a theatrical movie, they gave it several dates. The article in Variety goes on to describe this. The movie was originally announced under the title Aang, The Last Airbender, and had a theatrical release date for October of 2025. 5 months ago, this is supposed to be in theaters. In April of 2024, Paramount delayed the movie's release to January 30th, 2026. Again, should have been in theaters already. But again, theatrical. The official title, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, was announced 1 year later, and then a third release delay was announced on May 25th, with Aang moving to an October 9th, 2026 theatrical release 3 times. In the Shakespearean thrice, Rob, they were given theatrical release dates. And now this company that is swearing up and down 30 theatrical films a year, says Paramount, which nobody believes they're going to be able to do. Here you have one. And they're dumping it onto streaming. And, you know, listen, I know we've been through this debate before. Like there was the Roadhouse remake issue with, what was it? Doug Liman was the director of that one, right? And he initially was under the impression it was supposed to go to theatrical. They decided to pull it to streaming. Now, look, at the end of the day, the movies belong to the people who paid for it. It's their movie. They can do whatever they want with it. They can put it in theaters. They can put it on streaming. In the case of Batgirl, they can scrap it. It's their movie. They have the right to do whatever they want to it because it's theirs. They paid for it, and everybody else can just shut the hell up. But at the same time, that does not take away from the fact that I understand the angst. Like you worked on this movie and you agreed to be on the movie and all that kind of stuff because you thought it was going to theaters and you were told it was going to theaters and you're telling your mom it's going to be in theaters and all that kind of stuff. And then they changed the release date to another theatrical date and you're like, oh, okay. And then they changed the release date again to another theatrical date and like, okay, that's fine. And then they tell you it's going to dump it on streaming. And that's got to be frustrating. And the other thing too is, if you're David Ellison and you're Paramount and you're putting these lofty promises into the ether about 30 theatrical films a year, you got one right here that goes towards your count. And listen, the director is not wrong when she says that the movie being pulled from theaters doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad movie. But they're also not wrong when they say that it gives the impression that it's not a very good movie. This screams lack of confidence, whether it's warranted or not, whether it's fair or not. So, listen, it's Paramount's film. They can do whatever they want with it, and they're not shifty for doing so. I'm just saying it's a little weird to do it at this point. Anyway, Rob, you read about this story. What do you make of it?
Well, I think it's unfortunate. I mean, the fact that they've moved it a number of times gives me pause. Because clearly they were either having production issues or something was happening. I mean, it's been delayed quite some time. They got the movie finished. I can tell you one thing. If they don't release it theatrically, the movie's not going to make one dime. They're going to put it out on streaming and it will be forgotten in a week, even if it's the greatest movie ever. I mean, I think that everybody who worked on this movie they all thought they were making a theatrical feature. So I would imagine that the effort is certainly there. Of course, the director is going to say it's a great film. So I want to try and understand from a studio perspective. It's not like Paramount has this great slate of films that they're going to release theatrically. I would think they'd be happy to have something that could compete in the family entertainment animation space. And if they don't have confidence in it, they obviously don't want to pay the marketing budget that it would cost to put something like this out. And there's probably a reason for that. So I would say that on one hand, I'm always going to be on the side of the filmmakers, but on the other hand, as you pointed out, it is Paramount's movie, and they have to look at the film and they have to say, I think we're going to make a lot of money, or not. And they clearly don't think that they are. So I would say there's probably some middle ground where the truth lies. But it's a bummer.
It is a bummer. Again, once again, let me just say what I said at the beginning. If they had initially announced this movie, hey, we're making an animated Aang movie that's kind of like a sequel to the original series, and it's going to be on Paramount Plus in whatever, I don't think any of us would have batted an eye. I would like, that's fine. That's fine. But the fact that they announced it as theatrical, they made it as theatrical, they changed the date to a new theatrical date, then they changed the date again to another new theatrical date, and then making promises about 30 films in theaters a year, only then to go, yeah, we're going to put it on Paramount Plus. Like, not to take anything away from the filmmakers behind it, but I'm sorry, Paramount, if you're going to act like you don't have faith in this project, why should we have faith in it?
Yeah.
That's the question. Like, if you're not going to believe in your own stuff, how can you ask us to believe in it? It's just a really weird move, Rob. It just feels really weird.
I think so too.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Avatar Aang movie had not one, not two, but 3 theatrical release dates. Now it doesn't. We've known about that. And now the director's coming out saying, listen, this is a movie that deserved to be seen in theaters. It's a really dumb situation. Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, I got to say, probably one of the most anticipated movies this year, if you're going to just kind of survey the entire film-going public. Of course, you're going to get names like Odyssey, and you're going to get names like Avengers, and you're going to get names like Dune. But if you really scoped like the whole movie-going public, Michael is going to be really high on that list. Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, is going to be $1 billion film. Unless the opening weekend comes and the reviews say it all sucked, then maybe it won't. But I mean, I'm pretty sure, I feel pretty good that this is going to be $1 billion film. You never know what's going to happen.
Believe in Anton Fuqua.
I believe in Antoine Fuqua, and the trailer for
looks,
this has been spectacular.
Right.
The trailer was just dynamite and all that kind of stuff.
It looks like the film is very dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just visually, it looks great. The color palette's fantastic. It's got a vibrancy to it. At any rate, well, now you get a chance to go see it before everybody else. Ooh. As tickets, as you can see here from AMC's website, the event they're calling Michael Early Access on Wednesday, April the 22nd. Now, granted, that's only 2 days before the official release date. But still, the early tickets for the early access are now available online. And you know what? I don't think word has gotten out about this very much, because I found out about it. I went, and the theater, my favorite, the AMC Prime Dolby, was only half full. Granted, I think the tickets have only gone on sale in the last few hours, but still, they should be there and ready for you. And listen, you know, I do not believe, for those of you who've watched my show for any period of time, you know, I do not believe that when you're casting a literary figure or a real person, I don't think getting somebody who looks just like them is anywhere near the top of the importance list, like at all. I think that should be one of the last considerations, because it doesn't matter. You know, the kid who played Elvis looked nothing like Elvis. What's his name from Dune? Why
am I drawing a blank on his name?
Yeah, well, I'm suddenly freezing on. I'm looking at his face in my head.
Austin Butler.
Austin Butler.
Yeah.
Austin Butler looked shit like Elvis, like at all. He was brilliant as Elvis, though. He was great in it. So it doesn't matter. But even I gotta go. When we saw Michael Jackson's nephew taking on the role of Michael, and the first time we saw some footage of him as Michael, even I, who do not think that you should elevate like how much he looks like him all that much, even I had to go, damn. Like, I feel like I'm looking at Michael Jackson. And when he speaks, I feel like I'm listening to Michael Jackson. And why not keep it in the family, I guess. Anyway, Rob, these tickets popped up. I snapped mine up. What do you think about this? And do you think there's going to be a demand for it? Do you think people are actually excited about Michael? I think they are, but not everybody agrees.
No, I think, look, I think to have grown up in the last 40 years, you can't not be aware or have Michael Jackson put a smile on your face, because his music was the music of so many of our lives, you know, and he was such a presence.
Yeah.
Even when I was a little kid, you know, the animated, there was like the Jackson 5, they were a big deal before Michael Jackson was just Michael Jackson. You know, ABC 1, 2, 3. I mean, they've been a part of my life since I was a little kid. So, you know, to go see this biopic is something, it seems like it's going to be a celebration. Obviously, what happened later, they do say on this AMC thing, a complicated man. But I think that everybody, look, it's like when I went and saw, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody. I love great musical biopics. You know, Bohemian Rhapsody, I watch Bohemian Rhapsody like clips whenever they show up in my feed. Like, here's how they decided to make We Will Rock You. We want to give something that the audience could do. You know, and I that Michael Jackson thing, I've watched that trailer like 10 times. I mean, it just looks like it's going to be great. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Are you excited for Michael? And are you going to go and grab yourself some tickets for Michael Early Access? They are available now. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Side note, I was just showing that I bought my tickets for AMC. Remember how a couple weeks ago we talked about how AMC stock fell to an all-time low? It was like $1.40 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $1.10 today. Like, it's in danger of getting unlisted. If it falls under $1, they're in danger of being delisted from the stock exchange. That's a topic for another time. Anyway, guys, listen. We still have a number of other really cool topics to talk about, including a trailer dropped for a new Will Ferrell sports comedy that I'm surprisingly looking forward to. Kate Winslet, Academy Award winner Kate Winslet, has joined the cast of Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. And David Ellison just had his first meeting with Warner Brothers executive and leadership. Did not go well. We're going to talk about those things and a few things more. But before we do, there are a bunch of other things going on in the world of movie and TV news that we don't have time to talk about in depth. But we want to make sure you guys are at least caught up. So that's why we do this little segment called In Other News. First up, Emma Darcy is stepping away from the Dragons of Westeros for a very personal new project. The House of the Dragon star has been cast to lead a cancer drama titled Last Train Home. The project is being directed by Jesse Gutch and is deeply rooted in Gutch's own real-life experience living with an incurable cancer diagnosis. Darcy will play Eve, a woman who reconnects with a childhood friend while navigating the heavy emotional landscape of facing mortality. Reported by Variety, the project is being described as a quiet, intimate look at human connection and the weight of a terminal illness, marking a significant dramatic shift for Darcy. Next up, we have some disappointing news for fans of Ellison Brie. Her highly anticipated pilot, Witness Protection, is officially dead at FX. The project was originally developed with the help of The Sopranos creator David Chase. The series was set to star Ellison Brie as a high-end Washington, D.C. madam who turns on her partner and enters the Witness Protection program in a small town in Maine. Unfortunately, despite the star power and the high-profile creative team, sources like Deadline have confirmed that the network decided not to move forward with a full series order. Now, while the project did get shelved, Brie is still really busy. Don't forget she's got that Masters of the Universe film coming up, and I personally cannot wait to see her play Evelyn. Next up, Quentin Tarantino has officially revealed his next project, and as expected, it's not a movie, at least not yet. He's heading to London's West End to write and direct a new stage play called The Popinjay Cavalier. Now, the play is being described as a swashbuckling comedy set in 1830s Europe. The play is a massive pivot after Tarantino famously scrapped his 10th film, The Movie Critic. Now, according to The Hollywood Reporter, the production is slated for early 2027. Now, here's where the two worlds could collide. Tarantino has hinted that if the play is a smash hit, and that's a big if, it could potentially evolve into his final cinematic film. But for now, it's all about the live stage. Next up, hey Voltron fans, the wait for a live action update is finally over. Sort of. Anyway, Amazon MGM Studios has officially set a release window of 2027 for the big budget adaptation of Voltron. Directed by Ross and Marshall Thurber, the film features a powerhouse cast including my boy Henry Cavill, along with Sterling K. Brown, who is awesome in Paradise, by the way. He's playing the villainous Zarkon. Reports from Superhero Hype have indicated that production wrapped in Australia back in 2025, and the film is now in a massive 2-year post-production phase for the legendary robot lions. Now, this is great and everything, but to me it's still absolutely disgusting that this is getting dumped on streaming and not getting the theatrical release that they originally promised. But hey, at least now we know what year it's coming out in. Next up, horror icon James Wan is returning to the director's chair, but this time for a gritty crime thriller. He's been set to helm an English-language remake of the acclaimed South Korean hit The Gangster, the Cop, the Devil for Paramount Pictures. The story follows an unlikely alliance between a crime boss and a police officer who team up to hunt down a serial killer. In a huge win for fans of the original, Don Lee is officially reprising his role as the gangster for the American version. Now, the film is being backed up by a script by John Wick writer Shay Hatton and promises to bring the high-octane energy of Korean action cinema to the global audience. And finally, Cameron Diaz's Hollywood comeback is officially in full swing with a new romantic comedy at Amazon MGM Studios. The untitled project, which stars Diaz alongside director and co-star Stephen Marchant, has added a bunch of talent to its supporting cast, including Fabrizio Guido and Lisa Gilroy. So here's how it's being described. The plot follows a British workaholic who needs a quote-unquote spouse for appearance to keep his job at a luxury hotel, and he strikes a deal with Cameron Diaz's character, a struggling stand-up comedian who desperately needs health insurance. Interestingly, this marks Diaz's first true romantic comedy in over a decade, and fans are excited to see her return to the genre that made her a superstar. Something About Mary, Best Friend's Wedding are two of my favorites of the genre, so it's really nice to see her coming back to it. And that'll do it for In Other News. All right, guys, and that gets you all caught up on a bunch of the other things going on in the world within other news. So with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, it might sound cliche to say, but the more I think about it, Will Ferrell truly is one of the greatest comedic geniuses of the generation. Like, he's just fantastic. Even just when I see him in interviews or on podcasts, he is one of the most naturally funny guys I have ever come across. Now, that doesn't mean he hasn't made some stinkers. Like that Sherlock Holmes thing he did with John
C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly was terrible. I did not like Blades of Glory. I mean, but his hits far outweigh his misses. Well, some time ago, we heard about the fact that he was going to be doing like a new golf series. And today, the teaser trailer dropped as Netflix dropped the trailer for Will Ferrell's Netflix golf comedy gets a summer premiere date. And they changed the title. The title of it was going to be Golf, but they changed it to The Hawk. And actually, I like the trailer or the title much better. Hollywood Reporter talks about the plot. He says, as for the plot for The Hawk, if you've seen Talladega Nights or Semi-Pro or Blades of Glory, you probably have a rough idea of what's to come. Ferrell plays Lonnie the Hawk Hawkins, 2004's #1 golfer, with a personal style, bleached curly hair, and likewise dyed goatee and aggressively colored golf shirt to match. The show's logline reads, Lonnie struggles on the back nine of his career to recapture his magic. His body says retire, but his heart says he's not done yet. His ex-wife Stacy, played by his SNL wife practically, Molly Shannon, and his son Lance, golf's new golden boy, know he's through, but with one more major to win to complete golf's Grand Slam, Lonnie refuses to believe he's anything other than just one stroke away from the greatest comeback in golf history. Now look, I'm not a major fan of Semi-Pro. I thought it was okay, had its moments, but not great. I did not like Blades of Glory, like at all. That Blades of Glory was just doomed from the start because, you know, John Heder who was, of course, from Napoleon Dynamite. He was the big Napoleon Dynamite came out of nowhere, and people thought John Heder was going to be a big star. He was amazing in Napoleon Dynamite, but he really couldn't do much else. And so they decided to pair him with Will Ferrell. Never worked. You know what else Ferrell did was surprisingly really good? It was a direct-to-Netflix movie recently. What was the thing? What was it called again about the world singing competition?
Oh yeah, the Eurovision.
Eurovision.
Yeah, the Eurovision.
That was really quite delightful. That was actually quite delightful little thing. And he was the only good thing, by the way, about that Jonas Brothers Christmas movie that's out there. By the way, take a look at this. These are Will Ferrell's sons. Magnus, Matthias, and Axel. They look like they could be their own boy band. But anyway, Will was in the new Jonas Brothers Christmas film with his entire family, which was kind of cute. Anyway. You know, despite the fact that he's only 1 for 3 with the sports comedies, Talladega Night obviously being a win, semi-pro kind of in the middle, and you know what? I don't care. Sign me up. I will watch anything Will Ferrell does. I really will. And again, like I said, while he does have a couple of stinkers, I think it's 5-1, the ratio. Like 5 great things. I mean, 2 of his comedies are in my top 5 favorite comedies of all time. In Step Brothers and the original Anchorman. And and I could list about 10 other things he's done that I love. So you know what? Sign me up. I think it's great. And my wife, Ann, in the last couple of months has developed this huge new passion for golf. She's like golfing 4 times a week now. And so the timing of it's pretty good. Anyway, Rob, you saw the teaser for it. Good idea, or it's understandable to maybe feel like, are we really retreading? Even the article said, if you've seen Semi-Pro and Blades of Glory and Talladega Nights, you probably know what we're in for. So good idea or tired idea? What do you think?
No, see, I grew up in a family where golf was essentially the religion of our family. and you know, my mom almost went pro.
Really?
Yeah, she won the club championship at Glendale Country Club.
I remember you telling me about
in
that.
the 60s,
right.
70s, the 80s, the 90s. Although I did, to be fair, Mom, I did caddy for you when you lost the club championship on the 18th hole. Oh! But no, so anything to do with golf. I mean, Caddyshack in my family was like the greatest comedy ever made growing up. My parents loved Caddyshack. I mean, the joke about golfers, man, if they kill all of them, they're going to lock us up and throw away the key. Golfers, man, golfers. My mother still says that. I can't wait to see this. I'm sorry. I mean, I'll watch anything to do with golf. You know, whether Adam Sandler's in it, whether Kevin Costner's in it, Tin Cup. I watch anything to do with golf. Anything. I can't wait. And the thing is, Will Ferrell looks like a golfer. Look at that. Look at that, how he looks in this picture. I mean, that cracks me up anyway, just seeing that. I can't wait.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Are you looking forward to The Hawk? Did the new teaser they just dropped do anything for you? Are you like, yes, another Will Ferrell thing? Or are you like, another sports thing? I mean, didn't we learn from Semi-Pro and Blades of Glory? But whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. You know, The Hunt for Gollum is a movie that I have been growing in my excitement for. At first, it was a curiosity. So at first, it was a curiosity when they announced that they were going to be doing it. But once they said Peter Jackson was not just in name a producer, but he was legitimately writing and producing this thing with his Lord of the Rings team, and he was fully involved, and he was getting his own second unit director, Andy Serkis, who of course played Gollum and has turned into a damn fine director in his own right, is going to be directing it. I've been getting more and more excited about it. Then they announced Ian McKellen was coming back to play Gandalf. Basically, they acknowledged that, I almost said Tobey Maguire. Elijah Wood was coming back.
That'd be great if they just replaced him and didn't say anything.
And see if anybody noticed.
Yeah.
It's come back. I've been growing. Well, I wasn't expecting a big piece of casting news today for The Hunt for Gollum, but we got it. Academy Award winner Kate Winslet, Academy Award winner, Emmy Award winner, on and on and on. Kate Winslet is set to play the female lead in Andy Serkis's Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, will uproot her family to move to New Zealand for 5 months. Breaking Baz. It says this: Kate Winslet will join Andy Serkis's Middle-earth epic The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, in what has been described to Deadline by sources as the female lead, although the role has not yet been disclosed. Serkis and Peter Jackson spent most of last year coaxing Winslet to appear in the film, which means uprooting her family to New Zealand to shoot her scenes in the film from late May through October. Now, I want to point something out as I bring something up here. Kate Winslet is not just an Academy Award winner, okay? I'm bringing up the number here because I want to make sure I get it right. It's the sheer amount of times she's still young, relatively speaking, for the business. She's been nominated for 5 Academy Awards. 5. She finally won hers for The Reader, but she was nominated for Steve Jobs, Little Children, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and for Iris back in 2002. And again, Emmy, her mayor of, I almost said mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah.
Mayor of Easttown was fantastic.
She was fearless in that movie too.
I mean,
Series.
There's not many names in this business on the actress side that you can bring up that carry as much weight as Kate Winslet. There are a couple, but not a lot. And for them, and she's basically an actress who's at that place in her career with Emmys on her mantle, Oscars on her mantle, all that kind of stuff. She can do anything she wants. She can do anything she wants. And for her to say, okay, I will move to New Zealand, I will bring my family, we'll all go there for 5 months to do this, to me says that Andy Serkis and Peter Jackson have something maybe pretty special here. Like getting the band back together, that's one thing. Like getting Ian McKellen to come back and all that kind of stuff, that's good. That's very good. But the fact that you're able to get Kate Winslet to come in and do this is kind of shocking to me. And it's just another thing that has taken me from just having The Hunt for Gollum being a curiosity to me to now straight up being something I'm pretty excited about. Now, I'm not expecting it to be as good as, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King. But I am expecting it to be better than the Hobbit films. And if it can come like more north of the Hobbit and closer to the Lord of the Rings films, we could be in for something really special. Clearly, Kate Winslet thinks it's something that's worth her time. So I'm excited about this. Rob, you heard about this. I was stunned. Like, I'm actually shocked that she's joining this, but it's a welcome surprise nonetheless. What do you make of it?
Well, Kate Winslet can female lead me anywhere. I'll go wherever she'll take me, if you know what I'm saying.
Just sitting on that.
But, I think it's kind of cool because, Peter Jackson gave Kate Winslet her big break in Heavenly Creatures.
Yeah.
So that film, first of all, it's a terrific, that's pre-Lord of the Rings. That film is a terrific film based on a true story. And she was great in it. So, I think that Kate Winslet, I've never met her, but the thing that's always struck me about her is she's just very smart. And I think she's very savvy in terms of how the business works and the kind of projects that she's taken on. And I think that, if she's thinking about, if you're going to do a project that you want your kids to see, because a lot of actors talk about how their kids are totally not interested in their career or whatever. I mean, this is the kind of thing where it's a big budget film, but it's also kind of auteur driven. You get to go back and work with Peter Jackson and his crew. I'm sure that going to New Zealand for 5 months is not the worst thing in the world. It's a great place to go. It's a very magical place. And having lived there on and off for 3 years, I mean, it's any chance to go back there is an amazing chance to go. And I think that she's working with people that want to make something special. And I think at this point in her career, that's what she's looking for. She wants to look or work for people that she really enjoys working with. And she wants to work on things that matter, that come out and have weight. And I mean, the way she's navigated, I wouldn't have thought she would have gone to do an HBO series.
Well, she did that already.
It was incredible.
Yeah, it was so,
Yeah.
Mayor of, like, seriously, guys, we're talking about, I know there's probably a bunch of you that didn't watch it because maybe it doesn't look like that's something that's up your alley. Mayor of Easttown is great.
And
you
she
should really
was-
check it out.
There was no ego. Incredible performance, but I mean, it's not like she was wearing makeup, but she certainly was not glamorous in that episode or that show, even though you can't not make her glamorous. She's amazing. I think this is fantastic. Now, who's going to play Aragorn?
Or is he even in it?
Well, he's like the main character.
But I mean, they could have adapted it. But yes, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm expecting them to be Aragorn. It's not going to be Viggo Mortensen,
Right.
But they're going to get somebody. So we'll have to see who. And then no matter who they cast, the whole internet's going to bitch and cry and moan and complain, as the internet does. But hopefully they end up getting somebody really great. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Academy Award winner, Emmy Award winner, one of the truly best actresses in the world today is joining the hunt for Gollum. I did not have that on my bingo card today, but I think it's great. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Now, of course, the biggest news in the world of entertainment right now is the possible and pending takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery by Paramount and David Ellison. Of course, Netflix had it. Paramount came with a bigger offer. Netflix says that's overpaying. We're not going to pay that much. They backed out. Netflix had to cut, or Paramount had to cut Netflix a check for a clean $2.8 billion, which, by the way, is enough to buy Regal and AMC Theaters chains. Maybe Netflix can do that with the money. But David Ellison held a bit of a town hall on the Warner Brothers lot for about 150, if I heard the number right, of the top executives of Warner Brothers to give kind of a introductory speech and all kind of stuff. By the way, Ted Sarandos did the same thing after they announced that Netflix had won the bidding deal. And apparently, according to reports coming out of it, the WB executives were unimpressed. This comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. Many in the room were hoping to hear of a plan moving forward or clarity on timetables or layoffs. Many walked away feeling their hopes were dashed. There was a lot of talk of storytelling and coming together, and Ellison was dismissive of reports of huge layoffs. Yet, one person who attended the session added, "We don't believe him." Now, one of the things I've always said about David Ellison on here that I've heard quite frequently from a lot of people is that he is a true die-in-the-wool. Think whatever else you think of him. He is a big movie fan. He loves movies. And that kind of got echoed here. Another executive says that Ellison came across as passionate and very much a lover of movies. I've heard that myself. The CEO says he envisions the combined company spending more on the creation of content than any other media company. Ellison has reiterated that the merged company would release at least 30 theatrical films per year, not called Avatar, The Last Airbender, from the combined studio. And he talked of having one streaming platform and one company, while stating the plans was to keep both lots. However, a third executive tells the Hollywood Reporter that Ellison acknowledged the turbulent deal process of getting to today's place, but that may not have been enough for the executives in the room. There is still a tremendous amount of uncertainty over here, notes the Warner Brothers executive. We were hoping for more from the meeting. What kind of more? Well, one insider who was in attendance at this session notes that the event, which included remarks by David Zaslav and a 30-minute Q&A session with questions submitted in advance, led by Chief Communications Officer Robert Gibbs, was a stark contrast to a similar meeting held by Netflix in December. At that time, CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters came to speak to the leadership in Warner Brothers that felt more celebratory, and there was a plan, the Warner Brothers executive says. Here it was like, I don't know, just tell us what's going on. So the reports coming out from Warner Brothers executives are, hey, listen, Ellison, clearly lover of the movies. really does want to be a movie executive. He loves movies. He wants to make movies. That's great. However, the executives walked out of the meeting saying he's not believable. We don't trust him. That when Ted Sarandos was here, he laid out an actual plan, like what the plan was. We got nothing about a plan. We got no information about the $6 billion in cutbacks they're going to do over there, which means layoffs. We didn't do anything. We just heard how much he loved movies, which is great, but not a great start. Anyway, Rob, you know my feelings on this. Like I am quite concerned that Paramount got this. Again, I was cheering for David Ellison, but I mean, we haven't even seen that he knows how to run Paramount.
Right.
Like he went from, Daddy, can I have a couple of $1 billion to buy a studio? And he got it. And then before he even got his seat warm at that studio, he said, Daddy, can I have some more billions of dollars to go get another studio? And listen, I've been very clear in here. I'm really concerned about the fact I was looking forward, Rob, honestly, legitimately. I was excited looking forward to seeing what he could do with Paramount over the next couple of years. And he hasn't done anything yet. Like nothing. And he's now going to, maybe sometime by the end of the year, he doesn't yet, but maybe by the end of the year, he may now also own Warner Brothers. And I'm kind of worried about it, especially when he's sitting here making promises about 30 films in theaters a year. And as we just covered, one of the first films that he inherited, one of the first things he did, pull it out of theaters. It's not going to be in theaters now. Avatar, Aang, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender is going to go straight to streaming. Not a great start. And it sounds like he's not done a good job of getting the Warner Brothers executives to feel very comfortable about it either. Now, let me say this right now. None of that means that he cannot succeed. Everything that I just said is true, but none of it automatically 100% guarantees that he can't succeed. I mean, I hope he succeeds. It's just, you have to acknowledge it's not off to a very great start. But at any rate, Rob, you heard about these reports coming from the Warner Brothers executives. What's your takeaway from it?
Well, I mean, how would you feel? You look at the people that are running Warner Brothers. Mike DeLuca started out as he worked his way up at New Line in the 80s, and now he's worked his way all the way through New Line in the 90s and the aughts, and now he's the head of Warner Brothers after coming from New Line, being there for decades. A lot of the people at Warner Brothers, George Feltenstein, who runs Warner Archive, knows everything there is to know about not just Warner Brothers film library in terms of where the prints are, in terms of the negatives. He knows everything. He's one of the most knowledgeable people who works in Hollywood today. He runs Warner Archive. He's in charge of the restoration of all their catalog films. You have all these great people that work at Warner Brothers. Even Peter Safran. It's not like he's a slouch. He's not just running DC. He also was in charge of doing the entire that universe that they created with The Conjuring. So you're dealing with people that have been very, very successful and accomplished for a very long time. David Ellison moved into the business when his father originally gave him $600 million, along with Megan Ellison, who created Annapurna, to start financing films. But it's not like David Ellison worked his way up in the industry from, say, being a PA on a low-budget horror movie or being a junior executive and working his way up. And you're going into a studio of people that are veterans, industry veterans that know what they're doing, and the studio's doing well.
You know far more what they're doing than you do.
Yes,
right?
Yes, and it's like you guys wanted to own. I would ask, the first question is, why do you need two studios? I mean, we've got HBO here. We've got movies, aside from The Bride, we had 8 #1 films over the last year, whatever. And you guys can't even put out a slate of movies that make any money. You're in tremendous debt. What are you going to do for us? So you've got a bunch of people that stand to be on the chopping block for basically another studio entity that isn't working very well right now. So how would you feel? So I think there's a lot. I mean, okay, you've bought the studio. What are you going to do with it? We don't see you running your own studio well.
Yeah, you haven't even shown what your plan for Paramount is, and you've had that gig I mean, going back to 2024 is when they announced that you won the bid to win it, and we still haven't seen what your plan there is.
Right. And you guys were a little, it's not like you went about going about our studio in a fine way. You were petulant. You might have even had the president of the United States put some pressure on so you could get the studio. You know, I mean, it's not a good look. But then again, I wasn't in the room. I don't really know. This is above my pay grade for me to speculate. But I would say, look, I just feel very protective of Warner Brothers.
Now, look, I should mention this too. You know, one of the things that I was really critical of last week was word got out that after David Ellison had been making all these comments publicly about what his plans for HBO and HBO Max are, it came out of Warner Brothers that the guy who's the head of HBO and HBO Max, David Ellison hadn't even talked to him. He's out there making announcements about what's going to happen to HBO and HBO Max when you haven't even talked to the guy who's running HBO and HBO Max. Now, one of the things that the article did point out, and I say this to his credit, is that as soon as that big executive meeting was done, Ellison went and had lunch with Casey Bloys, who is the head of HBO and HBO Max. Probably a meeting that should have happened weeks ago, because, you know, they said one of the first things that Ted Sarandos did when they were winning the thing, before they made any announcements, he sat down with, and went out to lunch with James Gunn and Peter Safran, Casey Bloys, DeLuca and Abdi. He made sure he was on the page with everybody, and out there was David Ellison making announcements before even talking to these people. But he did then go and have that meeting with Casey Bloys. We already know that they want to keep Casey Bloys. I think Casey Bloys is going to split after his contract's up in 2027. But still, that was a good thing to hear. So that's a step in the right direction. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It wasn't the best start. It certainly wasn't a sequel to that Ted Sarandos Netflix meeting with the Warner Brothers executives that everybody loved. Everybody's coming out of this one going, he's a passionate guy and he really loves movies, but we don't trust him. We don't believe him. He didn't tell us what the plan is. And it would have been nice to know what's going on. And so the word used in the article was unimpressed right now. But again, bad starts don't necessarily mean bad conclusions. I remember when the Philadelphia Eagle coach showed up in Philadelphia, had a disastrous first press conference. The introduction press conference, everybody was like, what the hell are the Eagles doing? They got a Super Bowl ring now. So, I mean, listen, bad starts don't necessarily mean bad endings, but we are off to a bad start. Maybe they can turn it around. Anyway, guys, whatever you think about all this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With all that down, it's now time for us to move on to the important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we got to do two things. First is bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we're going to take a moment here and thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at BetterHelp. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. You know, March is a time when we celebrate the women in our lives and recognize everything they carry every single day. Women often take on a lot, and sometimes their own well-being gets pushed to the side. And it's a great reminder of how much women give to the people in their lives. So this month is a great time to pause and reflect on the roles that you carry and the pressures that can come with them. Therapy can be a helpful space to work through those challenges, create balances, and set healthy boundaries so you can take care of yourself too. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp connects people with licensed therapists who follow a strict code of conduct. With over 30,000 therapists and more than 6 million people served worldwide, BetterHelp has an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for live sessions based on 1.7 million client reviews. They also match you with a therapist based on a short questionnaire, and if your first match isn't the right fit, you can switch to another from their recommendations. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's betterhelp.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to the real stuff here. Your comments and questions. Remember, there are two ways to send in a comment or question. One is if you're watching the show later in the day and not live, you can use our tip link. That's at streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. You can send a question in there anytime, 24/7. Or if you're watching live, you can use the super chat feature. Now, we have turned off the super chats because we've got plenty of them in there, but they will be turned back on again tomorrow's show. All right, Jonathan, let's get things kicked off here. What do we got up first?
Okay, first up, we're going to hear from Tom, who says, "Hi, John. Was wondering if you're a Peaky Blinders fan and saw or are planning on seeing the Peaky Blinders, the Immortal Man movie. Personally, it was top 5 most anticipated movie of the year, and it was amazing."
I'm not a Peaky Blinders fan. You know, which sucks because I love that style of show. And I love the people. And Murphy's in there. You got incredible cast. Tom Hardy was in there.
Uh-huh.
I watched the first 4 episodes. This is going back a couple of years. I remember I watched the first 4 episodes and it just wasn't clicking for me. And I bailed on it. So
where is the movie even playing? I didn't even see it like at AMC or anything.
I didn't know that the movie was out yet. I saw a trailer for it a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Interesting looking trailer, but yeah, like I said, I watched the first few episodes and it just wasn't resonating. It just didn't click for me, even though that's exactly my kind of show, but it just didn't work for me. But I know a lot of my friends love it, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, what's next?
Will Penny. Hi, John. Wondering if you had a chance to catch up with the Bone Temple, easily my favorite of the year. Do you think the underwhelming box office could heavily impact our chance of receiving the concluding chapter? Could they confirm at CinemaCon?
They could. I don't think they will. I mean, look, first of all, the first movie made no money. I got to go back to it now and take a look at this. 28 years later. So 28 years later by itself, which I didn't enjoy very much. Worldwide total made $151 million.
Bone Temple's a third of that worldwide. 57.
Yeah.
Almost 58.
So you drop 2/3. First of all, it was already going to be tough because not many people went to go see 28 years later. And a lot of the people who went to go see it weren't really super satisfied with it. So your box office is just going to go down. But dropping by 2/3, it only made $57 million. So here's the thing. You have to be aware that if you do a third film, you can't count on it making any more money than that.
Yeah. It looks like the first 2 movies only made worldwide about 75. So that's kind of in their wheelhouse. That's 75 to 50. So no, you're going to only do that.
People were convinced that it became this big cult classic, the 28 franchise. Big cult classic. Everybody's going to go see it. And it just hasn't. So let's put it this way. No sane executive would greenlight a third film. That doesn't mean they won't, because as we've seen, there is often some insanity in this business. Would I go see a third one? Absolutely. It would be a smart move to make a third one? Absolutely not. I have my doubts that we're ever going to see a third one. So listen, if they're going to announce it, they might say something at CinemaCon, but I'm not expecting. I don't think we're going to see a third film. But I hope I'm wrong. That's just me guessing. All right, what's next?
Brett Laufer says, "Hi, John. Have you seen the trailer for Undertone? It's a new A24 film that comes out Friday, focusing on sound for its scares. It looks genuinely terrifying and the most unique horror film in a while. Thanks for adding tips back. Been a fan since 2013.
Nope. And you know what? I think Rob went to go see it last night.
Yes, he did. And I didn't even hear him talk about it.
I forgot to ask him about it.
He was more excited about the traffic he had to deal with.
Yeah, I actually don't know much about Undertone. I just remember he was going to go see it last night. So I have not seen the trailer yet. I'll load that up and take a look on it after the show's done. All right, what's next?
We got Jay Lewis, who says, "Hey, John, Rob answered this a few weeks ago, but I'm very curious about your perspective. 80s Spielberg versus 90s.
Couldn't tell you. I'm terrible with movie dates. I couldn't tell you which of Spielberg's movies came out in the 80s and which came out in the 90s. I just don't know. I'm absolutely horrendous with dates. So was E.T. an 80s film?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guessed E.T., but I would have to sit down and prep an answer for that because I just don't know off the top of my head. I will say this though. Steven Spielberg is the greatest director of all time. Period. End stop. There's no debate. There's no discussion. He's it. He is the goat of goats. He can do every kind of movie. He can do like action, adventure, sci-fi, period piece, musical. He can do every single kind of movie there is and get them all nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. So, I mean, what's better, his 80s film or his 90s films? The answer is yes. Just yes. But I would have to sit down with an actual list in front of me to give you an actual answer. All right, what's next?
Yuhan says, got my tickets for Project Hail Mary and seeing it on the third largest IMAX screen in the world at Sydney, 79 feet high by 95 feet wide. Get front row. Laser projection. First time our teen kids are going to an IMAX, their minds are going to be blown. I've heard about that IMAX.
I can't. I am waking up. I feel like it's the countdown to Christmas. I'm literally waking up every day counting the new number of sleeps until I get to see Project Hail Mary. Because what are we at now? We're at 2 sleeps. Wednesday sleep, Thursday sleep, Friday Project Hail Mary. I am ludicrous. You know what? I'll be honest with you. If I got offered a chance today, like let's say I got a phone call today, Lord Miller and Kevin Feige called me. They were having lunch and they said, "Hey, John, we just decided we're going to let you come down to one of the studio lots and you can either watch Avengers Doomsday or Project Hail Mary right now." 3 or 4 months ago, I would have been, "Hey, I really want to see Project Hail Mary, but clearly Doomsday." And you know what? Today, I would probably still say Doomsday today, but I would have to think about it a while. Like, that's how excited I am for Project Hail Mary. I cannot wait for this thing. So have a great time watching on that IMAX screen. I'm going to also see it on an IMAX screen on Friday. All right, what's next?
John says, which of the following is the best choice to attach the first teaser for Zelda? Mario Galaxy, Brand New Day, Odyssey, Doomsday, or Doom?
Well, the real answer to that is none of that matters. We don't live in an era anymore. It used to be. Back in the golden times, it used to be that if you wanted to see a trailer for a movie, you had to go to a theater. And that's where trailers made their debuts. They debuted in front of certain movies, right? But that's not the way it is today.
Right.
Movies debut on YouTube.
100%.
There is 0.001% of films that do it other ways, like a Project Hail Mary, or not a Project Hail Mary, sorry, like Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. But that's like 1 out of every 1,000 films. So the real answer is the trailer for Zelda isn't going to debut in front of Mario Brothers. It's not going to debut.
It's too soon anyway.
Yeah, it's not going to debut in front of any of those.
Yeah.
It's going to debut on YouTube. And then it will be attached to a whole ton of movies. That's just the way it is today.
Yeah, it'll definitely be attached to like Doomsday and Dune around that time, but I don't think they would even have a trailer ready for Super Mario Brothers.
That's not necessarily true.
It's weeks away, isn't it?
Remember, we got the thing is, we were talking on the show about the first production images that came out for Zelda months and months ago. So, I mean, theoretically
they could scrap together a teaser.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, would they play one now? Absolutely not. But theoretically speaking, would they have enough footage right now to piece together a working trailer? Absolutely, they could. But it's about the shoulda, not about the coulda.
Yeah.
And there's no way they will this early.
All right, here's our last of the tips. Excuse me, Dan the Fan, happy hump day. Have you seen the One Piece live action season 2? It's so good. The changes they've made are better than the original source material. There's specifically an action set piece in episode 3 that I think you'll love. Hope you hear your thoughts.
Nope, I have not started watching season 2 yet. And it's funny because, I very surprisingly loved season 1. I had a lot of fun with season 1 of One Piece. Now, why have I not started watching season 2? The reason is because Anne, my wife, sorry, let me rephrase, Dr. Ann Campea, my wife, the doc, she has not seen One Piece yet, season 1. And she said she wants to watch it so she can watch season 2. So I'm holding off starting. But if she hasn't watched or started watching season 1 by like maybe Monday, I'm probably just going to go ahead and watch season 2. But I'm waiting right now for Anne to catch up with me. All right, what's next?
Okay, on the super chats, AL says, "What is your worst theater experience ever?"
It was the fortunately I haven't had many bad experiences. Like everybody always talks about, people are always talking. I have maybe 1 out of every 100 times I've gone to the theater, and maybe I'm just lucky, but had a truly disruptive bad experience. Like, of course, lots of times, somebody's phone went off once or whatever. But I'm talking a truly disruptive experience. Maybe 1 out of every 100 times. Easily the worst one was when I went to go see the Jim Carrey film. I can't remember what it was, the number 23.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. And me and my buddy were sitting there, and I'm not stereotyping this pack of idiots are the reason there's a bad stereotype, but these 4 or 5 or 6 teenage girls sat behind us, giving a bad name to teenage girls, and they would not shut the fuck up. And they weren't even like, I don't mind if I'm in a movie theater and there's like somebody wants to say something to the person they're with, but they lean over and they and they at least try to be unobtrusive, and they whisper to each other. But these girls, can you believe it did that? What do you want to go do after? Blah, blah. And it's finally after 15 minutes or so, and I do not endorse this, but my buddy who I was with, and I do not endorse this, turned around and told them to shut their, I won't say the word, their something mouths. I mean, it was just,
get off my plane.
It was absolutely the worst.
I had a similar situation like that. It wasn't the greatest movie of all time, obviously, but it was Disney's The Alamo. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I finally had it, and I thought someone had gone to like talk to somebody. Oh, it was my friend. And then he came back, and I was like, what did they say? He goes, what do you mean? I go, what did the attendant say? He goes, I went to the bathroom. And then these girls, on top of that, at that very moment, started laughing even louder. And I literally stood up and went, shut up! And they did.
Listen, while the old adage, of course, is true, snitches get stitches, in a movie theater, I have no qualms about going and getting staff if somebody's just not inadvertently or accidentally being disruptive, but are like just being ignorant. Because here's the thing. You paid to be in that movie theater, and not just you. Everybody else in that theater paid to be there. And no one has a right to ruin your experience when you paid to be there. And so I encourage everybody, if somebody's being perpetually and just nonstop being a pain in the ass, go get a theater person, because it's not just for you, but for everybody else in the theater too. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Ron H. $20 super chat.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for supporting us on that level.
Says, learn more about the Youngblood remake. It premiered at 2025 TIFF and released on screens March 6, 2026. It apparently retells the story in a more Canadian context. So lots of scenes with poutine in the background. I hope. Poutine is delicious.
Somebody brought up, one of our viewers brought up, I don't know if it was Ron or not, but one of our viewers brought up the other day that, asked me about the Youngbloods remake. And I'm like, I had no idea somebody remade Youngblood. Of course, the hockey film, Rob Lowe was in that, was he not? I think that was the Rob Lowe film. Anyway.
Could have been.
Of course, I'm a hockey guy, but I didn't even know about it. I had no idea. It sounds like maybe it was only playing Canada. I don't think it was playing anywhere around here. But yes, of course, if there's anything Canadian, it must have poutine. Can I just say, side note?
You're going to say you don't like it? You're not big on it?
Oh, poutine?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's like the best thing. Like, it's the best. You don't get it much here, but man,
Yeah,
Oh, so
poutine.
good.
Poutine is it, man. Poutine is amazing. I mean, it's a heart attack in a bowl.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, cuisine in the US, as a Canadian, cuisine in the US is amazing. There's so much amazing cuisine and amazing amazing food, different
Variety.
culture, stuff like that, variety, culture, all that kind of so great. 99% of the time when I'm in a place that they advertise they have poutine, it ain't poutine.
You have to have cheese curds. You cannot just put cheese on it.
You have to have cheese curds.
Yeah.
You must have gravy.
And the gravy has to be the right consistency.
It has the consistency, temperature.
I'm speaking
Those
like
cheese curds have to be melted onto those fries.
Yes, it has to be attached as like this unit of like wonderfulness.
Yes, I'm sorry, but a lot of places in the U.S., again, amazing culinary country, that claim to have poutine do not actually have poutine.
Just the right amount of salt. Yeah. Okay, enough poutine talk. Jay Valen, Adam Savage. Christopher. What do you think is the worst film Guy Ritchie directed? I think Swept Away, starring his then wife Madonna, is
easily.
the most. Remember when she started to have a British accent?
Yes, that the moment Jonathan read the first few words, Swept Away. Now, by the way, as a side note, when you bring up the topic of like bad Guy Ritchie movies, it's a short conversation, but one of the films that people will bring up a lot is his Camelot movie.
Robin Hood.
No,
right?
no, not Robin Hood. Arthur.
Arthur, that's what it was.
They'll bring up the King Arthur movie with my dude from Sons of Anarchy in it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Screw that noise. I like that movie. I think that's a fun movie. And I don't care what anybody else says. I like that one. But yes, Swept Away, easily the worst one they've done.
All right.
what's
Next
next?
up, now we got Jay Valen. Adam Savage released the behind the scenes of Project Hail Mary. Very fun, showing all the difficulties of creating the sets with the production team.
Listen, I still have not come to grips with the fact that Rocky's a practical puppet in this movie.
For the most, which is like a
Yeah,
little
for the most,
CGI.
yeah, there's some CG assists.
Yeah.
But I would have thought that would have been an all CG film.
Mm-hmm.
Like total CG character. I'm just amazed. Like I cannot wait for this movie. All right.
We got Tristan, who says, shocked I finished Project Hail Mary so quickly. I hate reading. This movie is going to be an emotional roller coaster. Somehow still got tickets for Monday. Nice.
Well, I'm not surprised you got tickets for Monday because it's not going to have a big opening weekend.
I think Rob ended up finishing that book like in one sitting.
He did. That was the book that Rob, it showed up. He sat down in his kitchen and opened it.
Yeah.
And like 9 hours later closed it. It's
crazy.
it's that good. It's really that good. And I cannot wait to see how well or not well they're able to translate this into a movie. But I mean, the reviews have already been, this is our first best picture contender for next Oscars. And I just cannot wait to see this thing. All right, what's next?
Luis says, new A24 movie Undertone. Go see it. Last 40 minutes. OMG.
Again, I wish I remembered to ask Rob about it because he
know.
went to go see it last night. You know what? Remind me to ask him about it tomorrow, Jonathan,
Yeah.
because I'll ask him about it tomorrow. All right, what's next?
We got Richard, who says, from that WB Paramount article alone, I'm not surprised one bit. Many WB execs and creatives don't like Ellison. Even Zaslav himself doesn't like him.
I've always got the feeling that Zaslav doesn't like him very much. Now, I do not know that as a fact. I'm just saying that's the whispers I heard. Whatever. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But you know what? Business is business. It doesn't matter if you like each other. You know, it just doesn't matter. Listen, I won't name names, but there are, I'll say one pretty well-known creative team that I know for fact do not like each other, like at all. But they both recognize we have had tremendous success working together. So we're going to continue to do it because we have great success when we do it. It's business. They put it aside, whatever. So you don't need Zaslav and Ellison to like each other. Now, that brings up the question that somebody could ask, well, if Zaslav doesn't like Ellison, why would he sell Warner Bros. To him? Because liking the other person has nothing to do with it. Your job, not just of David Zaslav, but of also the board, is to make as much money for the shareholders as possible. It's not just an ethical responsibility. It is their legal responsibility. They are bound by law. And if Paramount puts forward what they determine to be the best offer, doesn't matter if they like David Ellison or not. And listen, the shareholders can still vote no if they want. The shareholder vote hasn't happened yet. I think they're going to go with what the Warner Brothers board recommended.
I think so too. I think they just
I don't see that being too much of a wrench in the works here. But yeah, it doesn't matter if they like each other or not. All right, what's next?
Qui-Gon Gin and Tonic. When it comes to double billing Doomsday, which film are you watching first and why?
I go back and forth.
It may just come down to logistics of what.
Okay, you know what? It will come down to logistics. It will come down to, I'm going to look at the theater schedule, see what is, okay, well, if I see Dune first, then I only have a 20-minute wait till the next movie. Whereas if I see, Doomsday first, I'm going to have a 75-minute wait that I have to just sit around. So it'll probably come down to logistics. In an ideal world, on my Doomsday doubleheader, I would watch Doomsday first and then Dune 3. The reason being is because I'm not saying which will be the better film, although I suspect Dune will be the better film, but that has nothing to do with it. Maybe Avengers will be the better film. Who knows? But Dune 3 is the kind of movie that I'm going to want to ruminate on more, that I'm going to want to sit with more. Like
right.
It's more of a thoughtful movie. Like it's something I'm going to want to marinate in after it's done, rather than going from it right into bam, Avengers Doomsday, so I think it doesn't really matter, but I think in an ideal world, I'll watch Doomsday first, get all that adrenaline, then go in and watch Dune 3, and then let that be my last experience of the day so I can, ruminate on it more.
Yeah,
anyway,
there you go.
All right, what's next?
Murray says, and just like that, the Jets have Geno Smith back.
Yeah, listen, first of all, couple of crazy things like Max Crosby going to the Ravens. Wow, wild. Oh, no, next that, now they got Hendrickson. By the way, listen, I've always been a Geno fan in the sense that I think he's a good, solid, serviceable quarterback. I've never thought he was a superstar. But man, I'll tell you what, he wasn't just on a bad team last year. He played really badly last year. And I don't know that I would have him as a starting quarterback anyway. Listen, yes, he's on the Jets now, but he's going to be the quarterback there for 1 year. They're going to draft another quarterback and then they'll move off him. But yeah, it's been a crazy offseason. I still cannot get over that Evans left the Buccaneers. I just can't picture the Tampa Bay Buccaneers without Mike Evans running routes down the sideline. I just can't picture it. And now he's gone to the 49ers, which is already a very potent offense. Sorry, I'm getting into my sports hat here. But yes, it's been a crazy offseason.
It's going to have ramifications next year. It's going to be interesting to see the shift.
Huge ramifications. Yeah. Absolutely huge. By the way, just for my friend Jonathan, l'Italia ha sconfitto gli Stati Uniti baseball. In my very rough Italian, which I think he knows what I just said, Italy beat the USA in baseball?
It's insane.
That's like Cambodia beating Canada in hockey.
That's an ass.
How did Italy beat the USA? And weren't they like up 8-0 at one point?
That's the game of baseball, man. Weird things happen.
And it's not a bunch of like junior leaguers. No. You got Aaron Judge and like you got.
Oh, this is like an all-star team.
How did Italy beat the USA?
The two juggernauts in this are Japan and America. In this class.
I mean, like if Mexico beat US, okay, like unexpected.
And they're
but
a big
okay.
team too. Them and Puerto Rico I had very high.
Yeah, if Puerto Rico, like U.S. would be the favorites, but if Puerto Rico won, okay, surprise. But
Yeah.
how did Italy beat the USA? I have no idea. Forza Italia, my friends. Okay, anyway, what's next?
Luke, AMC stock is 111. It kind of bounces 110, 111. Yeah.
Just when you think it can't possibly get any lower. Like, again, I want to remind everybody. Let me just bring this up here.
I will say I believe that's undervalued.
Oh,
Even with the
it's
debt.
undervalued.
Even with the
for
debt.
sure it's undervalued. But I just going to remind everybody that 6 months ago it was $3. 6 months ago.
Those were the days of wine and roses.
5 years ago, it was $522. Now, granted, that was meme stock, but after the meme stock, it was about $200. Then if you go back just to 2023, now this is before the stock split, it was at $33.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 10-to-1 stock split, or was it a 5-to-1 stock split?
Reverse stock
10-to-1 stock split,
Reverse split. So
reverse split, takes it down to about $3.30 a share. It's dropped 200 whatever, like it's now like down to $1 something. They got to do something soon, because again, if this thing falls under $1, they are in danger of being delisted. I mean, it's just crazy to
the only
think
thing
about.
that I hold out hope is that, before, during the pandemic and whatever, but it was also heavily shorted, still is. It was in the $1 to $2 range before it shot up to like $14 in the pre surge, and then it came down, and then it shot up to like 72. So you never know.
Now listen, I am not giving anybody financial advice here.
No, that's just historical
I'm just gonna
facts.
say what I'm going to personally do. I believe we're going to have a great box office year. I mean, the fact that Hoppers has overperformed, Scream 7 has overperformed. I think the box office projections for Mario Brothers right now are huge. It's going to be a huge year. I think today I'm going to be buying myself some. I'm glad I did when it was $1.40.
I will say,
But I think I'm going to buy myself some AMC stock today.
I will say a lot of it has to do with the fact that this debt restructuring deal didn't really pan out. They weren't able to move $3 billion, but they were able to move $425 million of that. It's a few more years to kick the can, and they did lower their interest rates. So it's going to have positive ramifications.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, sorry. Let's get back to the real stuff.
Dakota
What's next?
says, do you think Netflix is going to make a push to build their own theatrical distribution, or just keep on doing what they've been doing with only a few select movies getting a few days in theaters?
One cannot simply build a network of theatrical distribution.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of time. But I'll tell you what, I do believe Ted Sarandos has caught the theatrical bug. And I wouldn't doubt it if, not acquisition, but I wouldn't doubt it if they soon entered into a partnership. They could enter into a partnership with Sony, because Sony has entered into like a $7 billion streaming deal with
Right.
Netflix.
I think a partnership is more in the works.
A partnership going the other way, saying, okay, Sony, you know what? Now we're going to make a deal with you where we now do want to make some theatrical films, and Sony will be our distributor.
Yeah.
So I think that is far more likely and far more cost effective, is to partner with an existing distribution model like Sony than trying to build their own.
Yeah.
All right,
Unless
what's next?
Unless something happens and WB doesn't work
Hey,
out.
Netflix buys a bankrupt Paramount in 2 years.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun? All right, what's next?
HE3 says Scream 7 not good. Killer Revel was awful. Almost ruined the whole franchise for me.
I'll say this. It is truly one of the worst movies made in history. And I that's not hyperbole. For the first time in 20-something years, I changed my list of the unholy trinity, the 3 worst Hollywood-produced wide-release movies in history. For 23 years, I think, the list was, in no particular order, Battlefield Earth, The Highlander 2, The Quickening, and Halle Berry's Catwoman as the 3 absolute worst Hollywood-produced wide-release movies. Catwoman is no longer on the list. The unholy trinity of the worst Hollywood-produced wide-release films in history are now Battlefield Earth, Highlander 2, and Scream 7.
I almost need to stream this thing just to see stream the Scream.
I almost feel like you need holy water if you want to go in to see it. It's truly one of the most awful pieces of garbage I've ever seen. But it is just one movie. It has not affected my overall feelings for the franchise. I'm not a huge Scream fan, but I do like the first one. I really like the fifth one quite a bit. And the sixth one wasn't bad. It hasn't kind of sullied my view of the rest of the franchise. It is just one movie, and it sucked, but hopefully they'll recover from that when they do Scream 8.
All right. We got Christopher, who says, today's my birthday. Started following when I was 8.
Happy birthday, man.
Oh, my goodness. He started following when he was 18, and he's 30 now.
Wow.
Bring on the filthy and hope to meet at a movie meetup in Atlanta sometime soon.
Yeah, listen, I just mentioned the other day that I think the next movie meetup little mini tour is going to be Boston, New York, and Columbus, Ohio. But sometime after that, definitely have to do Atlanta. I'm definitely going to do Atlanta. I remember when we were still at AMC, we did kind of a movie meetup and a Q&A for AMC Movie Talk in Atlanta. And it was one of the most fun things we ever did when we were at AMC. So I've definitely been looking forward to getting back to the Atlanta area. That will probably happen May or June. Sometime in May or June we'll be in Atlanta. All right, what's next?
Kal-El says, with a $20 super chat.
Oh, thank you, Kal-El. Appreciate that, man.
Hey, guys, was there a movie you didn't enjoy when it came out, but after watching it a few times, you enjoyed it? Me, it was Blade Runner 1982.
It's only ever happened once for me. And for those of you, let's see if anybody in the live chat, I'll give you like 20 seconds because I know there's like a 15, 20 second delay.
I could tell them mine while they do it.
Yeah.
For me, it was Dumb and Dumber. And then it just got better and better and better for me.
You know what? Okay, that's close for me because I liked Dumb and Dumber the first time I saw it. I liked it. But it wasn't like one of the all-time classics to me. But then like you, the more I saw it, the more I liked it. But yeah, King Daddy Go and Dark Smirk, they know what it is. It's Inglourious Bastards. It's the only movie I can ever think of that I really didn't like it the first time I watched it.
It's literally my favorite Tarantino film.
It's my number one or my number two favorite. I think Django is my favorite Tarantino film, but right up there with it is Inglourious Bastards. I don't know why I didn't like it the first time I watched it. Not only did I not like it, I hated it. I hated it the first time I watched it. And now I absolutely love it. It's the only film I can think of that I straight up did not like the first time I saw it. And now I actually love it. And yeah, it's Inglourious Bastards for me.
All right. Francois says, what did you dislike more, The Bride or Marty Supreme? Bring on the filthy.
I did not hate The Bride.
You're right.
You know, I was disappointed in it. I was hoping for better.
It was more of an execution issue.
Yeah, it's definitely an execution issue. Too many ideas, less concrete, actual, like Jonathan said, execution. So I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it either. Like, I didn't hate The Bride. I hated Marty Supreme. I thought it was terrible. Like, Timothée Chalamet very well could win, maybe should win Best Actor this year. His performance is impeccable. But I really didn't like the movie, and I was excited for it, and I love Timothée Chalamet. You'd think, but yeah. So definitely the one I disliked more was Marty Supreme.
All right, our final three. DeCake says, I think Expedition 33 will be your new favorite game. It's that type of game that you will think about for the rest of your life.
I'm definitely I'm gonna be loading it up here probably tonight. Anne's having dinner with a friend of ours tonight. So her and Melissa are going to go out and have dinner. Oop, my damn
Well, that happened to me earlier.
And so I think I've already scheduled some PS5 time. And
nice.
I've already bought and downloaded Expedition 33. I've just never gotten around to start playing it. I think I'm going to do that. And by the way, I got to get around. I need to do my next playthrough of Baldur's Gate, my all-time favorite game. I got to get through that one.
I still got to get to that, but I'm like,
dude, it's the best. I think it's the best video game ever made.
They're refusing to lower it's still like $70. I'm like, how is this still full price?
You want to know why?
Because it's great.
Well, not only because it's great.
Demand.
And they update it.
Yeah.
And all this kind of stuff. unlike so many other games, you never have to pay another dollar.
Yeah.
There's
Great.
no DLC. At least there's no paid DLC.
Right, yeah.
There's none of that nonsense. And believe me when I tell you, it is so worth it. It is my favorite game of all time. I just love it. So now, Gary, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons player. So obviously there's I skew that way anyway, but it's truly my favorite game ever made.
We got Modest Shot. John, did you see the teaser for the film Back Rooms?
I did not.
Nor did I. I haven't even heard of it.
I keep my eye open though for it. Thanks for putting it on my radar.
Yeah.
All right.
Then
Next?
Christopher Diaz, boy, we get a lot of this question. John, did you see 28 Years Later, Bone Temple? What are your thoughts?
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, and listen, significant, massive improvement over 28 years. It's just really too bad that 28 years killed it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the 50-something million that Bone Temple made is not a reflection of the quality of Bone Temple. It's a reflection of the quality and how people felt about 28 years later.
Yeah.
And that's just an unfortunate reality, part of franchises. And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions, whether you sent them in on the tip link or used the super chat feature. Number one, because you gave us great, fun, interesting things to talk about. And number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Hey guys, don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow. So big thank you to Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name is John Campea. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.